As we continue to navigate this PC parts crisis here in early 2026, we have to start thinking further outside the box when it comes to trying to get into PC gaming. So today's video, we are going to examine this Dell Inspiron that I picked up on shopgoodwill.com at my local regional pickup center. All in, it cost me $44.54 for the system, but I did sell the 2TB hard drive for $28. Now, I'm not going to lie, I was super excited when I saw this system because for some reason I have wanted one of these systems for a few years now. I think personally this is one of the better looking OEM Inspirons I've seen, and I think it has something to do with the red outline on the front bezel as well as that red LED. Now, this Dell Inspiron is a model 3656, and this was a pure AMD version of this Inspiron. So this Inspiron series is rocking a series of AMD CPUs and came in several configurations. And based on my research for this model, this was one of the highest configuration options you could get for the system, which was marketed as a light gaming machine. Now, coming up, I'm going to show you why we're differentiating from typical rig respawn patterns. I want you to notice that the processor here is soldered to the motherboard, as this is a mobile laptop CPU that cannot be changed. Here are the specs that Dell marketed as their gaming tier for this model of Inspiron. The first game in today's benchmark suite is going to be BeamNG. Now, initially the system auto set the presets to 1080p and medium, but as you can see by the CPU usage and the FPS counter, that was way too much on the system and we could not get the game to run very well. So I wound up dropping the settings to 900p and the medium preset, and the game was actually able to run and I was able to drive around. Now, I'm not sure the accuracy of this FPS counter here. I didn't want to clutter up the screen with too many metrics, but I believe due to the 1% and 0.1% lows, it may be affecting what is going on with this overall FPS counter, because as you can see, while it's not the most amazing experience, we are running down the hill here and it's not lagging, it's not stuttering, it's just playing. The biggest limitation that I noticed with this system is going to be the processor. Now, typically I like to benchmark games such as Red Dead Redemption 2, Fortnite, and GTA 5, but due to the limitations of the CPU, those games were not able to run better than a PowerPoint presentation, so they were left out of this benchmark. So one game I was pleasantly surprised that ran so well was Rocket League. The system automatically selected the 1080p resolution and the high preset, and as you can see, we were right there at that 59 to 60 FPS mark, which I believe Rocket League is locked to 60 FPS. If I am wrong, please correct me in the comments. I actually played several matches to try to get the best results that I could, and this was a match that, as you can see, was I think a 4-minute 4-on-4 match, and it ran perfectly fine. I had a lot of fun, even though I'm terrible at the game. Taking the place of Fortnite in today's benchmark is BattleBit Remastered. The game automatically selected the 1080p low preset, and we hovered between the high 40s to low 50s on the FPS, and the game was pretty playable. Now, if you've never seen this game, think Call of Duty with Roblox graphics. Now, there was a potato settings that made the game shoot up to about a 90 FPS limit, but the graphics just looked awful. I have played this game several times throughout the last year with my son, but I am not very good at it. But as you can see, the game ran and actually played pretty well. And I was very impressed with the performance of this processor. If you look it up online, the reviews for this processor are not very good, so I was excited to see that it played such popular games as BattleBit and Rocket League. Now, the game that surprised me the most was that the system actually ran Counter-Strike 2. As you can see, we're running at the 1080p low preset, and for some reason I could not get the overlays to work with this game. I believe it has something to do with the engine that this game was created in. But considering that CS2 is the, I believe, second or third most popular game currently on Steam, it was absolutely shocking to see that I was able to play. Now, once again, I'm not the greatest player at FPS games, but it looked pretty decent, and I did get a couple kills. So to see that a system that I had a little under $17 and could play one of the most popular games currently, I think is a massive win for this system, considering the hardware limitations that the system provides. Now, I'm going to wrap up my final thoughts in the next segment, and we'll go over what I think of the system, and I'll explain some of my choices for the video. If you've liked the video so far and you think you may want to see more of my content, please consider giving the channel a like and subscribe. And finally, we'll wrap up the video with one of my favorite websites that I've used throughout my PC journey, and that is systemrequirementslab.com. The premise of this website is that it runs a built-in hardware scanning tool, and then it compares your hardware to the minimum and recommended system requirements of games in their database. As you can see, based on preliminary scan results, this system meets 26 of the top 100 most popular games' minimum system requirements. So the website will compare your hardware scan results to their database, and it will give you a score. And as you can see here, this particular system scored a minimum of 42%, meaning that it should play 42% of the games in the database. Now, to answer the question, should you consider a thrift shop PC as a stopgap measure to get into PC gaming? I think so. In theory, that 42% represents over 6,000 games that you can play on a system like this. I hope you found the content of the video enjoyable, and if you did, please consider giving the channel a like and subscribe. And as always, thank you so much. I'm Nerdy30, and I'm signing out.